It's time for SEC play, Ron. Thoughts?
Yeah. I've been waiting on it. I'm loving it. I can't wait. Like I think all of the SEC, since we ain't got nobody playing in the championship game, everybody's ready for it at this point. Like it's kind of watch it away, hurry up and move on. And hopefully, man, I know, and it's not just SEC fans, but Commissioner Sankey, I think, has got a lot pushed into this one, man, hoping that we can get a team to the Final Four. And I think you have an opportunity, man, with this SEC season. And Tennessee's right up there, creme de la creme of this group, that's vying for one of those Final Four spots.
Hey, can I jump in real quick here, Caleb? I'm sorry, but with the college basketball regular season has waned. I think we can all agree with that because of the tournament. Mm-hmm. Do you, as a basketball guy, are you concerned that the 12-team playoff could take even more attention away from basketball in the month of December?
I think so. Unless the regular season of basketball is done kind of like it was this last month of December. I thought it was some really good matchups across the landscape of it. Like, yeah, some blue bloods playing earlier on. And then I also like the conference challenges. I think we've been waiting on the SEC, ACC challenge for quite some time. And it was good to see that in the spot of right after the SEC championship. So you had a little break with some bowl games that you don't really know what matters, not really with the college football playoff. So you had those fan bases tuning in. But I think everybody else was kind of watching during that gap. And I think if you can space it out like that, I also believe, man, Peter Burns came up with a great idea. Like you should push the basketball season back if you wanted to, you know what I mean, and let it run on into May. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be great too. So it's no overlapping. Everybody gets this rightful attention, and you're not scrambling for fans to be watching. But I like what I saw this last December. I thought that was impressive. It was and it helps when you got competitive teams. It was more competitive this year as well.
Note to self: trademark May Madness.
Oh, get on it early.
Oh, that's much better. Also, I mean, just for the mental health of
I mean, I know Ron, he knows how to turn a buck. He's sitting there thinking, I'm gonna beat Dave to this.
Also, for the mental health of reporters like us three who cover these sports, Rod, I would have to say that I've always hated that March Madness aligns with the start of spring practice. That's just too much happening at one time. Mm-hmm. And you can get it done in May before the College World Series starts in baseball. Like, you can just have it all together. So
then at the same time, man, like to scratch that itch, I always, like the last probably 8 to 10 years, like I'm a Masters fan. Like, and it kind of slides over into the Masters a little bit. Like I want to watch the Masters too and not worry about what's going on. So yeah, man, it's a lot to cover, man, when you talk about all these sports overlapping.
Yeah, totally agree. Ron, I wanted to dive in a little bit, zone in on Tennessee because they have what many people will be consider a solid test on Saturday, and Ole Miss is their SEC opener. But you tell me, I'm not so sure Ole Miss is that much of a test. I know they're 13-0 and number 22, but they're 84th in KenPom rankings right now.
Yeah,
and they haven't played a soul. They're that type of team that those teams, Ron, that they could have like 26 wins at the end of the year and still not make the NCAA tournament because their schedule was so bad.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How do you think Ole Miss will test them?
Man, I was reluctant to give them props until I was able to see them and I saw them personally, and they passed the eye test for me, man. Especially the styles that Tennessee plays and Ole Miss plays. I don't think, when you're going up against, I think Tennessee can play different styles. I think Ole Miss needs to stick to their style to win these games. Like them going up against an Alabama that wants to get up and down and shoot threes, I don't think that'll bode well for them. Or Florida, I don't think it'll. Arkansas, maybe if Arkansas is not hitting threes. But watching them, man, they take on the personality of their coach. And regardless of whatever Chris Beard got going on, when he get in that team facility and in those white lines, man, dude he's a monster. He's a monster. And you can see it coming out of his players. I think I saw a cover that wasn't left bare by Kermit Davis, and he picked it up. He got some guys to transfer in. Allen Flanigan is playing with a newfound level like he had his sophomore at Auburn before he got hurt. Like this guy, he's tough, man. Like they get to their spots. They got a 4-headed monster on the outside and 2 7-footers inside. It's gonna be tough. I don't think they're a great shooting team, even though they've been shooting lights out like the last 4 or 5 games. So can that carry over onto the road against a quad one team that's gonna close out with a hand up? You know what I'm saying? The teams that they played before, they close it out, but they ain't got no hand up. They almost daring them to shoot and they're making it. So athleticism, and then I think the biggest thing, you see the accountability that they're holding each other to. Like it was a dust up in the game versus Bryant. Between the point guard for Ole Miss and one of Bryant's players, and immediately it was a bench player that was in the game from Ole Miss, and immediately he went and grabbed him, and everybody huddled up at half court, and you could hear him talking to him like, "Hey, dog, we don't need this, man. Like we got a way bigger goal. You know what I mean? Come on, leave that alone, man. We got stuff we trying to work on. Stay focused on what we're doing." And I thought that was key. So anytime you can coach yourselves and the coach don't have to get on to you, you got something set up, man, when it comes to leadership that's unquestioned. So I think that's big now. You got to take it on the road and win against a quad one team, a top 10 team, and I think that's going to be difficult. Do I think they're in the same stratosphere as Tennessee? No, I don't. But man, they're going to be a tough out. They're so athletic. Good gosh. He's probably one of the most talented guards in the SEC without question, Matt Morrell. You know what I mean? And coupled with Flanagan. I'm telling you, Flanagan's playing at a whole different pace right now, man.
Okay, I kind of agree with you on that. So that's going to be interesting to watch. From Tennessee side, though, we saw Zakai Siegler, man. It's like he's fully back and healthy, balling. And I think, and you're right, and the interior presence is starting to help Tennessee a lot from 3.
Yep.
Because it's clearing things out. However, I was big on Jonas Aidoo a month ago. Starting to think maybe Toby Awaka is the guy, because I've just got to be honest, Ron. If a fight breaks out underneath the basket, wouldn't you rather Toby Awaka be down there than Jonas Aidoo?
Yeah, no, hell yeah. Yeah, I want Jonas Aidoo to be the lookout, because he's tall. He can look over everybody. Like, tell us how many coming. You know what I mean? We're gonna battle these ones right here in this foxhole. You look out and make sure you can see how many people coming if we need some more help or something. But Toby is a different guy, and honestly, Cato, think about this, man. That is a great problem to have. You saw the emergence of Jonas Aidoo. Now you're starting to see Toby Awaka. When I was walking into the SEC season, I'm looking at it as, man, I don't know what the depth is like in the front court. That was the only thing that was worrying me. But to see Awaka take that another step and get comfortable in being able to get the ball and use a move, like out. Because you're undersized. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be playing like against Ole Miss with 2 7-footers. You got to be able to use your body, carve out space, find angles and different things. And he's looked like he's starting to do that, and he's relentless on the board. So that's what I was scared of. I thought that's where we fell victim early on in the season against Purdue, against Kansas. It was the front court depth. You know, one of those guys foul out or something of that nature. The second guy's not really ready to come in. He got to get warmed up, get going. You don't see that no more. It's when they do it, ain't got it going, you can bring Toby in and you're not missing a beat. And that's beautiful to see. So, and I still want to see one more. I still want to see one more guy take that step, whether it's Estrella or Cade Phillips. Somebody else got to take that step, but I like where it is now. So I totally agree with you. Toby, man, is I'm a big fan of guys that play on the national team, regardless of the age, under 18, under 20, under 19, NBA, Olympic team, whatever it is. You never come back at the same level. You always go up a level. And I think you're seeing that with Toby Awaka playing against pros from other countries. And he's brought that in. He's in a comfortable space right now.
Ron, I don't want anybody to get fired.
wait a minute. What you about to say then?
Well, I feel like there are times that kind of dead man walking or dead woman walking. And I hate to say that about Kellie Harper. I do. I really do. But it just doesn't feel like it's going to work out. I mean, if you had a bet a mortgage payment, or is Tennessee looking for a new Lady Vols coach in the offseason?
Oh, I'm right there with you, Hook, man. Good gosh. When you talk about what a Lady Vol embodies, discipline, leadership, being able to take a step, if you need to reset, resetting, taking a deep breath, going at it again, never giving up. Like she embodies all of this. Something is not translating to the court, to the players, to the court. You look around the league, I don't think Tennessee's ever been, the Lady Vols have ever been in a situation where they've been strapped for talent. Like, you know what I mean? Like and this is no knock to any of them. I think all of them are worthy of it, man, and they're giving their all for it. But look around the SEC, you're like, dang, that look like our Lady Vols, like they used to look. You know what I'm saying? Like one or two, like it was never just one. You know what I'm saying? It was never just one or two. It was, you got 4 or 5, man, and you don't know what this class is gonna be coming in next year. It's different, man. And I think Coach Kellie, man, she's in a situation where she came from, what was it, Southeast Missouri or South Missouri? How you say it?
Southeast Missouri State, yeah.
So coming from there, and you get to this stage, and the way you won there, where she was very successful, I'm not sure you can win that way in the SEC. You kind of got to tweak some things. You know what I mean? And it kind of shows in the wins and losses. But, man, I don't want to say that either, man. But if I had to put stock in it, I think they may be looking. And you start to look around, man, to everybody hitting on these first-time coaches. I thought that Kara Lawson situation was a big one. I love Kara Lawson. That was in my class in '99, so I'm going to be biased. But I thought that was a big situation, man. If a trigger would have been pulled to get her, you go get her, man. So, I hope Kellie can get it together. But, man, if I had to put a little stock in it, I might get somebody else put some stock in it in another name, so it ain't going to be my name. But I think I would reap the benefits on this one.
Enough.
Yeah, Ron, there's a couple of things that I think are really working against Kellie Harper right now, on top of just the on-court reference. One, Danny White himself is the best hirer of coaches around, and he knows he's the best hirer of coaches around, and his strength has actually been women's basketball. Felicia Leggett-Jack, he found her out of nowhere when he was at Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I forget the UCF coach, but she was another gem of a hire when he was down there. But then the other thing is, you brought it up. I mean, Kara Lawson she's recruiting on the level with UConn right now at Duke, and she's coaching them well. And she is one of the smartest people to ever be in basketball. So, I mean, isn't when tides like that happen, it's hard to stay around if you're just doing okay, right? You can't just do okay, right?
It is, man, and you got to look at it. And Kellie honestly is a victim of her own success. Like, she set that bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, it not taking anything from Pat. I mean, she had to give it to the players, and I'm sure she would always say, "Man, it's my players that went out and did it." So Kellie's a part of that foundation that was able to carry it on, pass that torch, and the bar is set because of her. And I mean, to a human being, like, looking in the mirror, I think she would say, man, I don't feel like I'm getting it done. You know what I'm saying? I am most definitely trying, and I'm not going to stop. But injuries play a part. All of this transfer portal plays a part. But, man, at the end of the day, in this business, the way college landscape is today and the way the women's game is growing, I think that's the other part. The women's game is growing so rapidly that Lady Vols brand cannot be left behind. It's no way possible. You can't let South Carolina, LSU take off, UConn, Louisville, but like, you can't let these schools. Ohio State just landed a big one in Jelani Cambridge. Like it's some ones that I know Coach Kellie is working with to be able to get, like Lauren Housel, who will be a dynamic get. Trent Housel's daughter, who's a sophomore, but it's a lot of people that she can get, and man, you got to go get them. You got to land them, because talent is everything. Look what Dawn is doing, man. Look what Morka is doing. Like, you can't be left behind. Not the Lady Vols. Vols basketball, we can fall in the wayside a little bit. Tennessee football, you can fall in the wayside and try to dig yourself back out. Lady Vols, they did it. They did this.
Let me ask you this, because an elite job is one that you can call anybody and they're going to pick up the phone and have a serious conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So much expectations, such an incredibly large shadow cast by Pat Summitt. Is Tennessee an elite job, or do the expectations of the fan base make potential coaches wary?
I think it's an elite job, especially in that realm, just because of what she already set up. You look at it and you think about just the different levels that it went to, and the support that she got. Like, you could easily walk into a Tennessee program and get to asking questions about the football, asking questions about men's basketball, so forth and so on. And then when you get to the Lady Vols program, this stands alone. Like, I don't. You working all the way from the 80s all the way up to today. You start talking Lady Vols, like, just look across the college landscape. Who else is saying lady in front of their names? It's the Lady Vols. Like, they were able to hold on to it for a reason. So it's a program, man, and yes, it's tough. Hell yeah, because they've been winning. Like, you feed your belly, you fill your belly up with them championships. It don't feel good, man, when you just win an SEC championship. Like, you want to go be in the Final Four. Like, it's different. It's different. I do think that you pick up the phone for anybody, though, and they're going to answer. They're at least listening. And if you get them on campus.
Do you think they could go hire Kara Lawson tomorrow?
I think Coach K would have something to say about that. But see, that's what I'm saying. You're getting a pull from a different direction when you talk about Duke. It's going to take a Coach K to come in there and say, hey, we're going to give you all the resources too. We don't want to lose you. But if the Lady Vols hold true to what it is, hell yeah. That's a dream job for Kara Lawson. She ought to, wow. I would think.
Pretty good insight.
You couldn't bring a championship as a player. What's the next best thing? Bring it as a coach.
That's true.
Pretty good.
Ron, do you think one of the things that what I want to talk a little bit X's and O's with Kellie Harper and the way she coaches, because it's not like, I don't think any of us think that she doesn't know basketball. She knows it. She's forgotten more than I'll ever learn. Do you think one of the problems sometimes with Pat Summitt proteges, and Kara Lawson is not showing this, but it's that the style of coaching that Pat Summitt employed isn't as effective in women's basketball anymore, because there was such an emphasis on crowding the paint with defense and rebounding that doesn't it seem like Kellie Harper's too committed to that, which was from the 90s style and even the 2000s with Candace Parker, but the game, women's basketball, hasn't it gone the way of the men's game at this point, where it's a lot more fluid and spread out than it used to be? And the biggest star is Caitlin Clark for a reason.
Right. And I think that's what Tennessee is missing. You're missing that person that you can say, move, get out the way, and the floor is going to be space, go get you a bucket. And then on the defensive end, I think you also looking at it on the defensive end, and you usually have somebody to patrol the paint as you did back in the past, but it was like a lot more crowded. And if you get to the point where you can space the floor, you got to get those type of players that match that style of play. Like, even the players don't really match that style of play. You know what I mean? You still had to be quick twitch, athletic, switching 1 through 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tamika Catchings, they could go small and let Catch play the 5. Candace Parker could switch out and go guard a 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had the fighters, but you had those type of athletes as well. So I think that's the biggest part. If you gotta establish what that Lady Vol prototype player looks like and be able to go get them. I think that's where you're lacking at. You know what I mean? And there's no knock, because you got some really good players. But they do one thing well. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that may be, whether it's shooting, whether it's handling the ball, whether it's finishing, whether it's rebounding, whether it's Lady Vols do a lot of things. They're interchangeable. When you look over the years, successful teams had interchangeable players. It was never just one person that's going to be the one. And if they get covered up, we're going to let somebody else handle the rock. You know what I'm saying? You go play the 2. It's fine. So I think that's the talent, man.
Ron, great stuff as always. You're on 104.5 The Zone from 3 to 7 Central?
6? Yeah, 7 is after party. That's a little bonus party. Little bonus for everybody.
Shots.
A lot going on.
Yeah, it's wild. All right, so and then we can follow you on the Twitter And we appreciate you each and every week. Brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Thank you, sir.
No doubt, man. I know a lot of people to the Vol Nation, man. A lot of people been hitting me, asking, man, are they gonna put you on the game in Knoxville? I'm begging them to, y'all. It's not me, believe me.
Well, when do you get the call? Is it like Saturday morning? They say, hey, we need you at TBA or Food City or whatever the hell that's called. We need you in aisle 9 to call the game.
Yeah, hey, man. They gave me the schedule, man. And Wednesday and Saturdays, they got me in studio. Hopefully something comes along where they say, you know what? Let's put them on a game this week. So we'll see,
Let's
man.
do a three-person broadcast because Rod and Dane Bradshaw could both be color guys. Because Dane would be like the Kenny Smith to your Charles Barkley.
Dane is so savvy. Good God, Dane is savvy, man. I love talking to dude. That's my guy. I've been taking so many notes after Dane, but don't tell him that though.
Oh, you passed Dane. Dane's in the rear view. It's Billis. It's up front.
Gotta go get him, baby. Gotta go get him.